Good evening and welcome to Talking Barrie, the first Talking Barrie presented by The One Group and theonegroup.ca. My name is Stu Lynham. I'm the marketing director for The One Group, and we're very, very, very excited about this, what we hope will be the first of many, many, many live broadcasts. And it's called Talking Barrie, and it's about Barrie, it's about the people, it's about things that are happening in our city. So we're pretty excited to be joined by some important people in our city, and of course the most important people are you. So please interact, comment, leave questions. We'll be monitoring the Facebook page during the live stream. So if you have a question or you want to join the conversation, we want you to be there. It's an interactive experience, and we're really excited about it. And we're really excited as well to welcome our guest, Todd Palmer from Pratt Homes, marketing director for Pratt Homes, and an excellent volleyball player, right?
I was not prepared for how good you were going to be, Stu. I was flawless. I wasn't ready for that.
No one was more surprised than me. Thank you for coming, Todd.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Sandra Roberts, CEO, founder, all things Pie Media, Pie Mag, Pie Magazine. So we're very happy to have you here as well.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming, Sandra.
Hi.
Claudine Benoit, 21 years now for the Barrie Film Festival, and you've been there since day one.
Almost.
Almost day one.
Yep.
And the director of the film festival.
Yes.
And we're very excited to have you here as well.
Thank you.
And Scott Cooper of The One Group, also my boss, been good work. Team leader, sales specialist from The One Group, a real estate expert, and an excellent photographer too. Scott, thank you for being here too. And thank you for putting this all together, because it was Scott and The One Group that has put this together, so we're really excited. Everybody comfortable? Everybody set?
Yeah.
Off we go. A new sports facility is being proposed for the downtown core in the area around South Shore Center. So that's probably going to be a baseball stadium, primarily a baseball stadium. So what do we think about that? This is going to be an upgrade for the Barrie Baycats, who play now. They play in Minising, so out in Midhurst Way. So it's a little far, a little out. So they're proposing that it comes to the downtown. Todd, let's start with you. You're in developments. Do we need a baseball stadium downtown?
I think all development within reason is exciting development for any city when it's growing. I've actually played at the Baycat Stadium before. It's a great stadium. I would say, does it need to be down on the waterfront? I'm not personally a huge fan of the location. I do agree that we do need another stadium just to get sort of high-level tournaments that that happen in the IBL, or that potentially could be another place for concerts or anything like that. But I don't know, haven't they done a concert at the actual stadium that the Baycats play at before?
No, and one of the parts of the proposal is that this could double as an outdoor concert facility, which I guess we haven't had since in a long time.
Molson Park.
Molson Park. So,
yeah.
I mean, that would be an option. Sandra, do you think this is a good idea? Do we need something in that downtown, an outdoor facility?
I love the idea of like a multi-purposed platform like baseball and concerts, but I also love stages and parking. And I think the one thing that kind of concerns me about that particular location is the struggle with parking. Like, as we know, with Kempenfest and stuff, there's a major congestion in that area. But I think that close to downtown is a great idea, like Bradford Street, maybe attach a hotel to it, like the Drake, something cool with like art and culture and like moving shows and that kind of thing. So it's like sports, culture, fun, place to stay.
Claudia, this is culture. I mean, sports falls under the culture umbrella, I would say. The film festival is a cultural. What do you think of this idea? Should we be putting something downtown like that, or what do you?
I'm not a fan of it being at the waterfront. I think we need to protect our green spaces. I think that should be part of a tourism plan, is to protect your green spaces. Yeah, you don't have to have development everywhere, and it's prime land, and people are enjoying the trails there, and so yeah, I think.
Scott, real estate-wise, there's been a lot of construction in that area. It would mean more construction. Where do you fall on this?
I think the location that's proposed is going to cause congestion issues at Manette's Point Road, which is already, when we have our big festivals like Kempenfest and some of the races and the triathlons and stuff that go on down there, it adds a lot of...
Part of, obviously.
Yeah, which we all, yeah, I mean, I'm a big triathlete.
Yeah.
I think it's going to cause more congestion in that area, which we don't want. And I don't think it's a big enough space. It looks like it's going to be put in with a shoehorn, right? But I really, Yeah, right? I think it's a fantastic idea
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
get a proper sports facility that we can do
Yeah.
multiple things with. And I'm a big fan of having it out near the highway. We want all the people that drive through Barrie to see this thing and go, wow, Barrie's growing up. Like, Barrie's got stuff happening.
That's the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I think it'd be fantastic at the
Yeah,
old
for
Esta
sure.
Fairgrounds.
Is that
Would be a
where the Barrie Fair was?
fantastic
Like, is that the
location.
Barrie Fair
Yeah.
location?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
love
that's
Esta
not going to
Road.
help congestion either, though, because of the getting on and off the on ramps and the highways at Esta Road's already a mess. But
But at least the infrastructure is
I think,
in that
yeah, the
Yeah.
infrastructure, or maybe closer to like Park Place and Harvey Road, Big Bay Point, when they're going to build a new bridge and stuff in there. Maybe somewhere there could work. I don't know. It'd be great to have it where people drive by and see it and go, hey, I want to go to a sporting event there. Hey, I want to go to a concert there.
And we're so fortunate to have like people in our community that want to give us this kind of
sure.
an event space.
Yeah,
You
people
know,
that
that
want to
just
invest.
speaks
like
volumes
that.
about the kind of people that live here
Absolutely.
and invest in Barrie.
Well, another consideration though to keep in mind is that when these ideas are being proposed, there's excitement, there's exuberance, but then it comes time to pay for it. And in general, you see that these types of facilities end up needing partnerships to keep going. They need naming rights. They need so in the short term rather, maybe it's looking like a good idea. But down the road, 10 years down the road, are we going to have? The Barrie Molson Center just had to get renamed, or is it looking for naming rights? Is this something that we should be worried about?
I think that's kind of standard protocol nowadays for buildings in general. I mean, we just went through the renaming of the Five Points Theatre downtown. We tried to give it its own legacy, so it wasn't really kind of always corporate sponsorship. But this seems to be the game nowadays, from stadiums to events to, I think there's naming rights on Scott's pants. Like, it's going that far. Now, that's not true, but yeah, I think it's just kind of, it's part of the game now. If you set up a stadium, if you have an event, you're looking to put naming rights on it, and corporations are looking to put their name on things, especially if it's successful.
What a great way to influence the community and show your family pedigree for really establishing great business in Barrie and employing great people and being able to attach your business name to something that's going to influence the community for a long time to come. Right?
sure.
And plus, what a good word, pedigree.
Right? Do you like that?
So I think we can agree that it's a good idea in theory as long as we're not looking at hundreds of years of construction and too much congestion,
Definitely.
especially in that area downtown. And something else is that they've just finished the Military Heritage Park, and I mean that would be a concern. I would say don't want to be encroaching on the parking in that area. So
For sure.
excellent.
I also like this. I just want to clarify. I like the stadium they play at right now. Good stadium, good place. I know it's a little bit out of town, but it's a nice stadium. I like it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Todd, tell us what's going on with Pratt Homes. You guys just had a really exciting event renaming the former mate. What do we call it now? The former matey. The 5 points. What
Offended even said no. It's, obviously, that's what it was. It's called the 5 Points Theater now. That was actually a really fun thing that happened. There was 2,400 votes. 1,900 of the votes were dedicated to the first and second name, and only 38 votes separated 5 Points Theater and Theater at the Five. So that was really cool. But in general, yeah, things are rolling right now for Pratt Homes. We're closing homes at the Gallery on Essa, where Len Cucci's art's going to go on the roof there. We're closing at the Junction. We've got Bear Creek Ridge, which is selling really well right now. Oh, broke the wall. Which is selling really well right now. And an exciting part about Bear Creek Ridge, aside from just kind of new floor plans, new facades, and just an entirely new product line for the Pratt Homes family, is we actually partnered up with Tiger Shark and did some of the first virtual reality home tours to be in Ontario/Canada. Which is cool because you can't pop in the model home, but you can pop on the headset and go in. So we're making things happen like that.
Excellent. And what's your website if people need to find more about Pratt Homes?
Oh, we got all the websites: pratthomes.ca, bearcreekridge.ca, bantingsquare.ca. That one's reopening soon.
Excellent. Excellent. So on to topic number 2. The city of Barrie is considering a tourism committee. Now this is separate from Tourism Barrie. So this would be a committee that would look at things like facilities, would look at things like generating interest in events. The proposal, which just happened a couple of weeks ago at City Council, is that it would include members from Tourism Barrie, it would include members from the community, it would include some city councillors. So do we need a tourism committee? Claudia, we'll start with you. Do we need a tourism committee outside of Tourism Barrie to start generating some more interest in tourism in Barrie?
I guess I'm not clear on what the terms of reference are. Like, are going to be for this committee. I mean, if they're focusing on facilities, I get that there's different needs for facilities. You know, like a group like ours, Film Festival, what we need to show films is probably very different than a theater group or what have you. But I think you're saying that they're looking at special events, bringing them to Barrie, for example.
I think it's a sports committee specifically.
Mm-hmm. Is it? See, this, I'm confused. I don't really know the details on it.
I guess the guts of it is, do we need to be spending more money, more attention to generate tourism in Barrie? Is there enough need to get more tourists here that we need a tourism committee outside of what we already have, which is a Tourism Barrie department?
I think Tourism Barrie is doing a really good job. But I mean, tourism it benefits the whole city. So, you know, it's something that we always have to keep in mind and work on for sure. But, you know, I look at a lot of the great talent that's within Barrie that we should be celebrating as well. And we're awfully close to Toronto that we, you know, a lot of people are willing to hop on the highway and go and see whatever it is, right? There's so much there. Like, we're very close to that city.
Or the GO train.
Oh, I did it last Sunday. It was excellent. I went down at like 10 o'clock in the morning, went shopping, had a lunch, had a glass of wine, and I was home by 7:30, and there was no parking, no driving, GO train. It was sweet. So people come to Barrie, the same kind of idea, you know?
For sure, yeah.
Now, when you go to Toronto, if you're, you know, a commuter or whatever, when you go to Toronto, there is really no visibility for Barrie. There's not any sort of indication that Barrie's up here. That, you know, that we've got the film festival, that we've got local events. Should we be doing more? Should we be getting the word out in our own backyard and tell people it takes an hour and 10 minutes on the GO train?
For sure. I mean, look at our city. We're on the water. Come to Barrie. Get on the lake. You know, play on the lake. You can get sup on the waterfront. Unfortunately, we missed the serendipity because it was really cool to, like, experience, like, if you don't have a boat, to experience Barrie from the water, to see Millionaires Road, to see Manette's Point, you know, to, like, venture around the city via boat.
Senator Roberts' house.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
To see how big Kempfelt Bay really is.
To see how big it is, yeah.
So maybe it's more of a marketing, maybe they should be pouring more money into marketing what we have.
Well, even places like the state of California on television, they got all kinds of ads like why you want to come to California. If they have to do it, you know, then certainly, you know, cities like Barrie could benefit from some really emotional or impactful videos, films, you know, to make you want to live here.
I think Barrie is, I agree completely. I think, you know, marketing to get people up here in general is just a really good idea. I mean, our population is supposed to grow to 210,000 by 2031, so those people got to come from somewhere. It's not just going to be all births. So the tourism...
Made for you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is one.
Congrats.
One.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. We will produce one. I think Tourism Barrie is in support of this. I think if it's a sports-related committee, I think, you know, I think they've been kind of talking about this for a little bit themselves, if I understand correctly. But I think anytime we're looking at increasing tourism in the city, it's a good thing. You know, we're bringing money in, we're filling up hotels, we're filling up restaurants, and I'm going to sort of go back to something you said, Stu, and I think actually Barrie's a little more on the map than everyone expects. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good, you know, Tourism Barrie's doing their thing, they do an exceptional job. Everyone can always be doing better, but you know, Pie Magazine, for example, like, they're putting Barrie on the map. You know, Pratt Homes putting Barrie on the map. The film festival putting Barrie on the map. Tiger Shark, you know, G-Shift, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Flying Monkeys. All of these companies are really focused. You know, Randy Feltus and the Farmhouse and, you know, Pie. Like, there's a lot of good things happening in Barrie, and I think Barrie's a lot more on the map than you expect. Sure, you still meet the person from the GTA who's like, Barrie, it's a farm field, but like...
That's why we need to get better tourism, because for the people that still think like that, they need to come here. They need to, like, play here. And I think that's what the tourism is all about. Like, our city is so active. The sports is like, you had to change from a volleyball game before you got here. Like, the sports...
I smell.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But the sports, like, the sports scene here is so huge. And I think Mike McCann is, like, one of the counselors that really wants to head up this new tourism program, which I think is excellent.
And at the heart of tourism is cultural events, and one of the cornerstones of the cultural scene in Barrie is the Barrie Film Festival. Last year we celebrated the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
So you're 21. Tell us what's happening with the film festival right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think one of the biggest confusing things with the Barrie Film Festival is our name. You know, a lot of people think we're one festival, but really we have year-round programming. And, you know, we're constantly building on that. You know, we're in the theater every 2 weeks, 2 monthly film series. We've got outdoor series, we've got a short film competition that's international, that supports also emerging talent, education programs, and we've got 2 film festivals. So, and actually our core program, which is our Screen One film series, has been around for 23 years. Yeah.
Fantastic. And barriefilmfestival.ca if you want more
Yes.
information about the Barrie Film
Yes.
Festival. Excellent. It's been a few months since the Barrie Examiner went goodbye. The local newspaper folded after very, 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 very many years, almost 100 years actually. Symptomatic, really, of smaller communities across the country. Guelph had one of the oldest newspapers in the country, and they folded last year. What does this mean for local media? Do we need to have these traditional, local radio stations are cutting back in terms of radio news. CTV Barrie's making cuts in their local news coverage. Do these traditional media sources, do we need to have them, or is it just time to let this stuff go and move on to others?
A lot of industries are changing. You know, when I got back in the real estate business back in 2005, we used to spend a lot of money on print ads to market houses. You know, full page ads, promotions. People would call us. We'd put an ad in the paper, and on Friday our phone would be ringing off the hook. You know,
Everyone would line up for that coveted front page spot, that little box.
The little box with the open house, right? And we'd fight over those front page ads. And we were spending a lot of money on print ads, and it was getting us, you know, we were connecting with people, and we were helping people find homes and helping sellers sell their homes. And that started to go away. You know, 2009, 2010, we were really pulling out of a lot of those ads. There's still some people that are still doing a lot of print ads, but the papers rely on that kind of revenue to keep going. And I think you know, part of the problem with the Examiner was they weren't getting the ad revenues that they wanted. The audience is not there anymore. They've all taken to the internet.
Sandra, this is right in your wheelhouse. I mean, you're a local media organization. The revenues for sure might have been dropping with the Barrie Examiner, but there's also a population that really still use local traditional media like newspapers, older people, some people that, you know, so do we need those traditional sources, or is it time to just sort of
No,
evolve?
for sure. And like even this morning I met with Rock 95, where we first met. Again, I met with Rock 95 this morning, and they said that their numbers are up in the last 4 months. So basically, a lot of people now are turning back to looking for news, instant news as well, not waiting for tomorrow to get it, but really turning into the radio to get their news. And you're right, Stu, a lot of the seniors really rely on the newsprint or this news media to feed them information about what's going on in our community, because a lot of these people aren't on the internet. They don't know how to use a computer, or you know, it's just they're not savvy. So I think it's really important that somehow we figure out the best platform to still consider the seniors in our community when it comes to sharing news. And if it's radio, then it's all radio right now. But I understand that, you know, print media, when it comes to news, definitely is changing, you know, to the savvy social world.
I want to kind of jump on that for a quick second, just because Rock 95 and Cool FM, like Dan Blakely over there, hyper local, hyper news focused, and they're ramping up, like they're bringing their news game to a whole other level. You know, Chorus is cutting back news, L'Arche, they're cutting back news. I mean, it's in Rock 95 and Cool, they're going in the complete opposite direction, and I think that's really going to benefit them, right? Because people do want to know what's going on in the community. I don't know if, I think, Scott, you made the right point there, right? That, you know, print, ad revenues, sometimes newspapers is just bad business for someone who owns 25 newspapers, right? The whole idea is you want 50% of your newspapers to be doing well. If one of them's not doing well, we're going to have to hack that to get the business going well. But I think this kind of scenario here is going to be where news goes in terms of local sometimes, where you're bringing those people together, doing a live Instagram, Facebook, and getting people from the community to come out and talk about issues. And I think sort of that's the way I see news going in the future.
And we should mention, too, that as the Examiner has gone, we've still got the Barrie Advance, and we've got Barrie Today, which is a completely online publication. That's, I guess it's been about a year and a half that they've been around.
And Snap Barrie too. I mean, I see Snap like everywhere.
Gotta give Snap love.
You got to give Snap
Snap.
props. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been great. Yeah.
I guess really what it amounts to is that as long as there is a local media presence, whether it's digital, whether it's traditional, then that's the key. As long as we don't lose things like Snap, like Barrie Today, like those sorts of things, when they start going away, because in a lot of the traditional media areas, what happens is that the local component is just dropped, and that they import news from sort of Toronto or Vancouver, and they get sort of generic news. So that's a real danger, because then we're not talking about things like the Barrie Film Festival. We're not talking about cultural events that are happening here. So.
Right.
Well, and it's whenever you're promoting something, you've got to look at all your demographics, right? Like radio, TV, everything. So. I mean, I do think you need to strike some sort of balance. Like, you do want news from a reliable source as well.
Good point. Reliable source.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of comments
We're
on.
gonna drop fake news all of a sudden.
No, let's not. That'll open up a
I'd
whole
love to,
can
but no.
of worms.
I just want to make sure.
I knew Trump was going to make it in here somehow.
A lot of comments here. Stephen Elliott, Justin Roberts, all agreeing that there is still a place for print. So definitely there is, as you mentioned, there's still a need for it.
Yeah.
Sandra, tell us what's happening with Pie Magazine. Really, really sort of a cornerstone of the luxury lifestyle here in Barrie. So what's happening right now?
We just launched a website, so like we're not embracing like what is happening.
And it's a boss website too.
Right?
It's a boss
Anticity
website.
did it. That girl,
Yeah.
she rocks. Those
Yeah.
guys are like, I just love sharing information. I love curating content. So with Pie Media Group, it's really about storytelling. It's about creating art. It's about sharing art. It's about target marketing. It's about parties. It's about celebrating business,
Not that
really.
any of us have ever been to one,
No,
but
I'm
whatever.
sure. And if
Not
you
that
haven't,
we like to party.
you're missing out. But it's really like Pie Media Group is really about storytelling. It's about curating content. It's about beautiful photography. It's about interviews and storytelling and putting in a platform that, yes, it's in print. It's not dated. It's not seasoned. It's a book. It's more than an experience. It's like something you can share with friends, and it's a bit of a legacy, So it's really about that integrated marketing, the experience of creating a story, even for the client, is the experience that Pie Media Group is all about. It's video sharing, it's photography writing, and the party.
There's no such thing as just an ad spend with Pie.
No,
it's a whole the dollars mean like a whole entire like lifestyle and experience change.
You would know. You would know.
Wow.
I've seen your photos and a couple pictures.
And where do we go for more information? What's the website?
Well, Pie Media Group is the new site. So on that site, actually, it's really fun. Like we've been doing, I actually have April Barber, who was like 20 years with the Examiner Sun Media. So I'm very excited to have her join my team. So there's actually some really excellent talent pool in the city right now. So there's some positive points. So the www.piemediagroup.com. Really important I said www. Hey?
Yes, because everybody needs that.
Just in case.
Colon, these things.
And then all the magazines live there now. So
Excellent. So we're on to the final strokes here. 3-minute lightning round. So we'll have one answer from on everything. Driverless cars are coming to Ontario, Claudine.
Terrified.
In the near future, a car will appear at your doorstep. Nobody is driving. Are you going to get in?
No, I love driving, first of all.
Scott?
It's going to save me some speeding tickets.
Todd? No driver. Are you in?
Listen, driverless cars aren't the problem. The cars with the drivers are the problem. That's the concern.
Sandra, no driver. Are you getting
oh, yes, I'm getting in compound time. I'm working, and I'm getting to my destination on time.
Driverless limo?
Oh, yeah. You coming?
Obviously.
What about you, Stu?
in? This is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea. Nobody saw Terminator. This is how it starts. The robots take over. You're in the cars. You're in big trouble.
Oh, we're well.
Speaking of cars, another app-based food delivery services in Barrie. Uber Eats is here. We've also got Skip the Dishes. Is this a good thing, or should we be going out and supporting local restaurants?
But it's local and it's corporate companies that you can order. And did you know, like, you can even get ice cream delivered? Like, you could order from, like, 3 places for the same dinner. Wow. You could do an app, a dessert, and a main course.
Todd,
and not leave your living room.
Are you getting on your phone and getting people delivered food, or are you going out?
Oh, I already have. I do both, though. Like, I've skipped
Yeah,
the
I do
dishes, and I've gone with the... I guess the skipping the dishes is at home, but I think the brick-and-mortar game's tough in general, man, and I think really you need to step up the experience side of things. I mean, Barrie has numerous incredible restaurateurs around here, and I think experience is a big part of that, but I'll skip the dishes, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to make it it seem like I'm only ordering it.
Skipping the dishes.
I go out.
Please, I don't
know. I like the experience of going to a restaurant too, and interacting with people. There's something about that too.
Scott?
We've tried it. It works. Usually when I want to eat now. And I don't have 45 minutes to an hour to wait for my food to show up. So I'm either hitting the kitchen and making it myself, or I'm hitting the road to go get it.
And the ice cream will melt by the time it's there.
Yeah, I know. I was curious about the ice
will
cream.
melt.
I actually haven't ordered the ice cream yet. I was just looking at it because I generally like to go out. Like, I'm a socialite. I like to party and
It's
have
going to
fun.
melt by the time it's there. Rotary is offering to pay for a fishing platform at Heritage Park. This will sort of the end of Heritage Park. We just got through like 500 years of construction
500
at the waterfront. Scott, is this a good idea? We need a fishing platform at Heritage Park. Rotary's paying for it.
Rotary's paying for it, and it's every year in June we have a thing called Kids Fishing Day, and 1,500 kids come down to the waterfront and fish. And there's some areas that aren't exactly safe places for kids to be trying to get in there and learn how to fish. So I think it's a good idea, as long as it doesn't create a massive mess and congestion, which we already have a problem with. Otherwise, I think it's a good idea.
Claudia.
You totally convinced me.
More developments are good for the city, right?
Hold on, yes, I agree. I just want to clarify something. Regardless, it wasn't 500
www.pratthomes.
Finish the plug. What they did with downtown and the waterfront and Lakeshore is awesome, and when it's finished, it's going to be more awesome. I think, for that reason alone, kids are down there. A lot more people are going down there fishing. I don't fish myself. If I'm going to, I'm going to barehanded out of the water. I'm traditional like that.
Like a bear.
Harpoon.
Exactly.
Yay! Can you believe that we live in a city that you can swim in and fish right off your dock? Like, how excellent is that? Put away your phones, go fishing.
Fantastic. Scott, the One Group has brought this to our streams here.
Yeah.
OneGroup.ca is a website. It's been a really interesting, I don't know that's the right word, tumultuous couple of years in real estate, particularly in Barrie and the GTA. What are you seeing right now in the real estate scene?
Yeah, so we went through an incredible year last year, explosive year. People were getting, we had one couple that got over $150,000 over their asking price on their house. And what it was a supply and demand thing. So we had no supply and all kinds of demand. And then June hit and supply tripled and demand went to half. And we saw price corrections. July and August actually was a tough time to buy and sell real estate. And in September it got a little bit better, October a little bit better, November was okay, December is always a weak month. And we're noticing kind of a slow start to the spring market, although in the last 3 weeks, a lot more people are coming to the market with their houses and saying, I'm ready to make another move. And housing prices have kind of stabilized a little bit. But you can now go and find a house and negotiate yourself a reasonable offer, and you're not one of 13 people putting in a bid on the house and you have no idea if you're going to get it.
And if you're a real estate investor, this is an opportunity too, I would imagine. That, if you're looking for investment properties, you probably got more options.
If you're an investor, now you can maybe negotiate and get a little bit off the property, which is what you need to do. If you're overbidding for a house, it's kind of hard to make a solid investment out of it.
Excellent stuff, guys. We're done. Thank you very much for being here. Scott Cooper from the One Group.
Thanks, Scott.
Claudine from the Barrie Film Festival.
Thank you.
Sandra from Pie Mag and Pie Magazine. Todd Pratt, expert volleyball player, and Todd Palmer.
Pratt Homes.
I'm sorry.
Pratt Homes. Also, before we're done, though, I just want to make sure we do give some love to CTV News Barrie, because they do a good job locally, and I feel like we didn't give them enough love. We're giving love to Rock, just want to make sure I say that. Cool. And it's Todd Palmer
Rogers.
from Pratt Homes and Rogers.
And Rogers, yes. And Rogers.
So I make sure the people get the love,
But
right?
there's so much to talk about. Even these conversations, we just touched on, these topics. We could go so much. We'll talk about
Stu,
Barrie every Friday, right?
Totally. Yeah, there's so much more to say.
And we also want to say thank you to you for watching, for interacting. April, Justin, Mandy, Stephen, thank you very much for your comments. And you can continue to comment on this stream after we're done, too. We appreciate you watching. And we'll be back, for sure. Just keep watching this space for the next edition of Talking Barrie. Thanks. Have a great night.